Take a look at this graph of Dollar General stock. It's down over 50% in the last year. Dollar Tree, which also owns Family Dollar, same thing. Dollar stores have faced an immense amount of pressure over the last few years, and the once rapid growth of this business has now turned into a major slowdown.
I would tell you we do very good in good times and we do fabulous in bad times.
60% of Dollar General's customer base is made up of Americans who make less than $35,000 a year. Lower income Americans who shop at these chains are far more vulnerable to economic changes like inflation.
At Dollar Tree, true dollar prices are a thing of the past. The discount giant is raising prices again, some items as high as $7.
So when prices rise, their spending power takes a bigger hit, making it harder for dollar stores to rely on consistent demand. And it's not just that. Other companies are also eating away at their market share. Walmart, Aldi, Amazon, Temu are all chipping away at what dollar stores once had cornered. But the story of why they're struggling goes far deeper than just higher prices and more competition. So in this video, we'll discuss why they're struggling, if they can actually claw their way back, and most importantly, why these stores are far worse than you probably think.
This is the condition of most Dollar General stores across the country.
Dollar General has agreed to pay a $12 million fine and improve working conditions at thousands of its stores across the country.
I want these shareholders to know exactly what goes on in these stores, and I want them to know just how unhappy and how unfair their employees are treated. And I want them to know that they don't even have a living wage.
Almost every turn, dollar stores seem to treat their workers with either stunning indifference or outright contempt.
For years, dollar stores were one of the fastest growing retail segments. Even during recessions, they thrived. But now that playbook isn't working. But in order to understand why, we need to break down their business model. There's a reason Wall Street is abandoning dollar stores. The cracks in their business model are now impossible to ignore. Dollar General has a massive physical footprint. It has more than 20,000 stores spread across 48 states. In fact, 75% of the US population lives within 5 miles or less of a Dollar General. Now, just for comparison, there are roughly 4,600 Walmarts in the US. And at their peak, dollar stores as a whole were so dominant that by 2020, there were more of them than all of Walmart, Starbucks, and McDonald's locations in the US combined. Now, not all dollar stores operate the same way. Dollar General makes about 80% of its sales from consumables, things like food, beverages, household products, and health and beauty. Whereas Dollar Tree, on the other hand, is only about 50% consumables, with the rest coming from discretionary items like seasonal decorations, party supplies, toys, and home goods. Family Dollar, which Dollar Tree acquired for $9 billion back in 2015, operates much more like Dollar General, selling a higher percentage of consumables, but its stores are typically located in more urban areas. Now, of the three, Family Dollar has struggled the most, and Dollar Tree is now actively trying to sell it. But that doesn't mean Dollar General and Dollar Tree are thriving. In fact, much to the contrary. Both are seeing slight revenue growth, but their profits have taken a serious hit. Now, a key part of understanding dollar stores is how they price their products. Now, of course, they used to sell most items for $1, but with the increase in inflation and their relentless attempts to grow, they've had to increase prices. But here's the thing, most people aren't getting a good deal at dollar stores, and that's because it's all about price per unit. A single item may seem cheap, but when you compare the price per ounce or per unit to somewhere like Walmart, it's often more expensive. Dollar stores will negotiate with suppliers for smaller items than other retailers, and essentially embrace shrinkflation as a core principle to their model. This pricing strategy had historically worked well, but with inflation squeezing both consumers and businesses, it's becoming much harder to sustain. Throughout the years, Dollar General's expansion strategy was pretty simple. Build in rural areas where they wouldn't have to compete with other big box retailers. See, unlike Walmart, Target, or even Costco, which are strategically placed in dense commercial areas, Dollar General often builds in more obscure locations, sometimes just 5 to 10 minutes away from those commercial centers, but in other sections of the country, they could be the only major chain for miles. The idea was to establish stores where customers had little to no other alternatives. Their stores are also much smaller. The average Dollar General is around 7,400 square feet. The average Family Dollar is a bit less, and the average Dollar Tree is around 10,000 square feet. Now compare that to Walmart's 180,000 square feet, or even Aldi, which is considered a compact grocery chain. They average around 22,000 square feet. So having a smaller store means it's easier to find areas to build, it's quicker to have the store built, and it's of course cheaper to construct. This has resulted in them being able to expand at a fast rate. In fact, since 2010, they have more than doubled their store count. But there's another critical aspect here to their smaller stores: less staffing. An average store has between 5 and 8 employees, with only 1 or 2 working at a time. And so with that, coupled with minimum wage, they are able to save on labor costs for their skeleton crew. According to the Economic Policy Institute, 92% of their nearly 120,000 workforce makes below $15 an hour. Their CEO, Todd Vasos, on the other hand, made on average $30 million per year between 2015 and 2021. Now, it's gotten so bad over the years that even some institutional investors have tried to fight back against what some described as unusual and large perk packages that can be indicative of larger problems with the executive compensation program design. One of the more shocking perks included a $500,000 reimbursement for the personal use of the company's private jet. Several studies and reports indicate that Dollar General and Dollar Tree stores have experienced notable levels of violent crime, potentially linked to their staffing practices and location choices. According to CBS, between 2014 and 2021, over 150 people were killed by guns at dollar stores, with an additional 329 injured. A CNN investigation found that 49 people have been killed at Dollar General stores since 2014, and at least 6 Dollar General employees have died during robberies since 2016. Now, I found this quote from a previous employee who oversaw security of around 2,000 Dollar General stores really telling. He said, "Every night I was just waiting for there to be a phone call that said, 'Hey, we lost somebody.' It wasn't a matter of if you were going to have a bad robbery, it was a matter of when." According to the same CNN report, Dollar General had been repeatedly warned about ways to boost their security at their stores. From everything to having more staff, to in some areas actually hiring a private security guard, and to not obstruct windows with so many advertisements, and so much more. But according to this report, those suggestions were never implemented. Now, these violent situations are the extremes, but shrink, which is the term for lost or stolen goods, has been incredibly problematic for dollar stores over the last several years. Dollar General CEO said back in May that shrink was the most significant headwind in their business. And their CFO said back in December that shrink rates as a percentage of sales continue to be higher than they would like to see in their stores. Now, this has resulted in them removing self-checkout options from more than 12,000 stores. Now, in the spirit of being fair here, this isn't an exclusive dollar store problem. Target, Walmart, and some other retailers have begun removing self-checkout from certain stores. But I do think that for Dollar General, the scope of this problem has been much larger than the others. Now, you'd think with all of the theft and crime that dollar stores would focus on making stores safer, but it doesn't appear they are. These low wages coupled with the poor working conditions have only been made worse by companies like Dollar General doing anything it can to prevent employees from unionizing. Several examples have been reported over the years, like in 2017, when a Dollar General in northern Missouri became the first store in company history to join the United Food and Commercial Workers Union with a 4-2 vote to organize. Dollar General then spent the next 28 months fighting this outcome, citing the election was flawed. And after a multi-year-long battle with the courts, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit ordered Dollar General to recognize and bargain with the union. In response to this, Dollar General just shut the store down entirely. And I wish I could say this was the only example of them doing something like that, but it wasn't. In 2023, a National Labor Relations Board judge said that Dollar General violated federal law and, quote, clearly intended to interfere with worker rights in efforts to squash unionization at a Connecticut store. Now, even with all of these struggles, Dollar General and Dollar Tree aren't slowing down. In fact, they're still expanding, building more stores even as their financials take a hit. Dollar General announced they would open 600 stores during the calendar year, 155 fewer than the prior year. Now, they had originally planned for 800 new stores, but cut that number down back in May. They're also opening larger stores in the range of 8,500 to 9,500 square feet. Dollar Tree is also looking to build more stores this year, even while it shutters over 700 stores, which were mostly Family Dollars. Now, this further expansion may seem counterintuitive. Why wouldn't they take a step back and fix their problems first? Well, when you're a public company, never-ending growth is the name of the game. Investors expect to see numbers going up, whether it's revenue, market share, or store count. And sometimes it's easier to open new locations and create the illusion of progress rather than address deeper issues that could take years to fix. That's not to say companies never pull back. If things get bad enough, investors might actually demand it. But in most cases, public companies will always try to expand their way out of trouble, hoping that growth will solve their problems. And for dollar stores, that strategy has been their lifeline for years, even if it means pushing forward at full speed right up until the moment they crash. If you enjoyed this video and you want to further support the channel, please consider becoming a member to enjoy exclusive content. In the meantime, please feel free to check out this video next. Thanks for watching.